Now, I understand where Epic Games was going when they came out with Chapter 6 Season 3. Now, I had made some predictions that this would be a kind of a disaster, and I thought maybe, like that'd be like the theme of it, like another apocalypse type thing, but I guess I was kind of half right because, oh boy, is this season a disaster in terms of how Epic Games executed on this. By did they learn anything from the Primal season, like at all? Because they basically just took whatever didn't work there and just went the complete other direction, right? Where instead of having a whole bunch of weapons that were just bums, with a few of them that were just godly, now we have a whole bunch of god tier weapons that all of them have infinite ammo, and there's a few of them that are just bums. Okay, like these shotguns. Like, I don't understand. Like, can anybody tell if that's a shotgun? I mean, looking at it, I thought it was an AR. I was talking to another friend of mine. He said it was an AR. It looked like an AR to him too. And I'll be honest with you, kind of is, because I mean, just there's really they're just all new weapons. They're all the same color. They're all the same basic shape, and the only difference between them is just minor tweaks like length and I don't know, like I guess shape maybe. I mean, like you can tell the difference between the pistols and the long range guns, but then in terms of those, I mean, you can't really tell the difference all that well. So that's going to be a really big problem going down the road. I think people have to really like relearn everything there is to know about Fortnite weapons to get good at this season. And this is the thing that fundamentally pissed everybody off about Chapter 6 Season 3. So why do they do it again? Well, they obviously did it again because they wanted a Star Wars season, right? Well, I understand. Alright, I understand putting some Star Wars weapons in the game for your Star Wars season, right? Like that makes sense. Like it would have been bad if they hadn't done that. It just wouldn't really have. It would have been very unfortunate. Like I get it. Put in the lightsabers. That's fine. We like that. We like lightsabers. Put in the E11. We like that. Maybe something else. Maybe a couple other things. All right, four items max. Though after that, it's and not only do they do that, but they remove the entire loot pool to make room for this stuff. That's how obsessed they are with this kind of Star Wars. All right, they're risking to ruin the game in hopes of just drumming up sales numbers and revenue because of Star Wars IP. Now, granted, that's a good idea. In theory, it's a good idea in theory to make a Star Wars season, given the success of the two previous other seasons that were completely IP themed, being the Marvel ones. Now, what those guys did right and what this did not do right was how they went about this. You see, with Marvel in Chapter 2 Season 4, they had some Marvel weapons like the Stark Rifle, they had the Doctor Doom gauntlets, they had all the other superhero abilities, but those came a little later, one after another. They were unique in the sense that they weren't replacing what was already in the game. They actually brought back some other items like the TAC SMG, I forgot what that like gun was called. That like 60 ammo or whatever. I mean, that like machine gun. I honestly don't really remember. Heavy machine gun. I don't know. But the point is, they kept like basic weapons that we know and love, guns that we know how to use, instead of reinventing the whole loot pool to the extent where everything is just completely changed. Like there's nothing that we know really how to use. They've changed literally everything. Now the grenades, I get that. That's fine. That's cool. All right, you can change the grenades to be these like what were they called again? Like thermal imploders. Those are cool, right? But everything else, no thank you, no thank you. And don't even get me started on those X-Wings and those TIE fighters. Now, granted, this is actually a really cool concept on paper, right? Where you can fly around as these things, right? Giving me vibes from season 7 of both chapter 1 and chapter 2, where we got all new flying items. We got the X4 Stormwings, the first flying vehicles in Fortnite that can actually, propel themselves through the air. Granted, the Quad Crusher was up there, but this is like truly like a plane sort of thing. Right then in chapter 2 season 7, we got the saucers, and people hated the saucers because they're just, you could just spam that freaking like gun. You could abduct people into the sky and shoot them into the ocean, right? That, and you could just hover around, just spam people. Like, you got a whole squad together and do that, right? Now, you think they would have learned from this, right? You think they would have learned from X-Storm Stormwing as well. I mean, they kind of did. They gave it fuel and all that, balancing it out. But what you don't do is have this gun on here that not only never runs out of ammo, but will just shred mercilessly through just about anything it comes across. Like, you point this gun at people on the ground and it will just shred them to just literal bits unapologetically. Like, I understand this thing, and what makes it even worse is that this thing has health too, just like the sauces, so I can just keep going, right, and just continue the reign of terror. I reckon you can get 6 free kills this way, depending on sort of, if you catch somebody by surprise and they're running, right, you can just gun them down within moments. And in Zero Build, I haven't played Zero Build yet, but I can already imagine how much of a nightmare that is. Like, just shredding through absolutely everybody, and they have really no way of running from you because these things are just so unbelievably quick. And I understand it's, easy to shoot them down, but still, like, if you get them at the right angle, if you can wipe out a whole squad in like 10 seconds. And I actually tried. Those guys that walk around the weather station that you kill and you get the card and you can find the storm circles. I actually, it took me like exactly 2 seconds. I just spam the gun at those guys and just wipe them out in literally 2 seconds. Now, this thing I think has like explosion damage as well. I don't think you ever have to get a direct hit with these things. I don't know if that's correct, but literally just these guys just shred it down to bits. So if you have a squad that's like resing people like 2-on-2, right, and you point this cannon at that, and you can just literally shred that whole squad to bits in like 2 seconds, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. That's why they don't really learn from their mistakes. They just took all of the worst things from all of those seasons that people absolutely hated. People liked season 7 of chapter 1, but they hated the X4 Storm because they were just broken, or just disgusting vehicles that would just shred through everything, right? They tried it again in chapter 2 season 7 and they hated it again because it was just absolutely broken and you could just respawn. Alright, these things would just fly everywhere and just deal exuberant amounts of damage, pick people up here, right? Then they try again now with these weapons. See, you see the pattern here? They just never seem to learn. It just seems to get worse and worse every single time. And I feel like they're regressing. Actually, they're not even like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's like 0 steps forward and like 7 steps back, because these things have infinite fuel. You can just fly around the entire map forever and just be safe. Like, did they learn nothing? These things are basically just, if anything, buffed versions of the X4 Stormwings in their prime, which were already disgusting until I got my first ever kill in Fortnite, actually just boosting through some people's builds and just eliminating them on the spot. And replacing the entire loot pool, come on, they should have known this doesn't work, right? Just replacing it with weapons that nobody knows how to use. Alright, nerf weapons, buff weapons, I don't care. It's not the same or even remotely the same as what we had with, what we know to expect from the game, which is just normal freaking guns. Like, normal standard shotguns, standard ARs, SMGs, all that jazz, just gone. And they got rid of all the fun items too, like the bat. Right, that's gone, so you can't really like run around. Or the katana's been gone. I mean, none of that really. And now we just have a battle pass that's just full of a whole bunch of Star Wars crap that no one really. I mean, we already had all that stuff, so that's basically gonna wrap this up. All right, Epic Games really fumbled the bag. Now, can they say this? No, they can't. But can Chapter 6 Season 4 be a heck of a lot better? Of course it can. Now, that's probably going to be it of this video. It's been an absolute pain trying to rant through all this stuff, given there's so much to yap about. But I will see you next one. Peace.